Hello, in this video I'm going to cover the 3 tools or the 3 tips and techniques that I use in order to crush my weekly goals by introducing new habits, removing old unhelpful habits, and tracking and monitoring the progress that I'm making and what I do to stay motivated and focused on achieving those goals. So if this is a topic or bits of information that may be of use to you, stick around. For those of you that are new to this channel, my name is Tanya. I'm 52 years old and I am a coach and therapist, but I've had years of extensive self-development experience, and this is about sharing my journey, but at the same time giving you some information through my experience that may be of value to you. Okay, so I do self-reflection on a daily basis, but in particular on a weekly basis, I do a review of what's happened over the previous 7 days, and then I'm able to track the progress that I'm actually making. And in terms of the progress that I'm tracking currently, for me, it's the things that I am actually prioritizing. And one of the items is sleep. What is the quality of my sleep? How long am I sleeping for? How many interruptions I'm having? And then sort of reviewing, is it because I went to bed later? Is it because I had something that I was thinking during the evening? So I'm trying to sort of like be a little bit of a detective and figure out if my sleep wasn't as good quality as I would want it to have been, to try and figure out what may have triggered that change in sleep pattern. And that then enables me to make changes for before I go to sleep that night. And so I'm sort of like adjusting, tracking, and sort of course correcting as necessary so I can actually see patterns of behaviour. The other thing that I'm also tracking is my mood in terms of, am I feeling energised and revitalised, ready to take the day on? Or am I feeling a bit sluggish? Am I feeling a little bit low mood? Is the weather outside not particularly nice, and is that having an impact on the way that I'm feeling? Is something that I'm going to be doing today or the day that I'm doing the reflection that I'm actually excited or maybe a bit nervous about? So then I can actually do a bit of reframing if necessary to get myself in that mental state and emotional state where I can show up as the best version of me and acknowledge and accept the feeling that the mood that I'm in, but take the actual next steps to change that if it's not helping me, if it's not serving me a certain purpose. Because sometimes if you've got a low mood, if you've not slept well, this is your way for you to sort of like take note and be like, well, what does my body need today? What does my brain need today? What does my heart need today? And it's about being kind and compassionate to yourself and adjusting maybe your schedule to incorporate how you're actually feeling. Now, another thing that I'm also tracking is exercise, because for those of you that have followed my channel for a few weeks, I'm actually wanting to introduce new healthier habits together with a healthier relationship with food. And I'm trying to try is the wrong word, because that is indicating that I am potentially going to fail. So what I am doing is I've incorporated new habits of behaviour, and that is where I'm introducing a couple of days of additional exercise than what I was previously doing. So previously I was walking 2 days outside in the fresh air, going to a Zumba class, and then I was actually doing 1 day on the treadmill indoors, and 1 day I was actually exercising on a vibro plate, which sort of helps with the kind of core muscles. And what I wanted to do was increase the amount of times I was on the treadmill and on the vibro machine, and I've increased that so now I'm 2 days on the treadmill and 2 days on the vibro, and I've got them organized in such a way that I'm not repeating the same kind of muscles each time. So I've got a bit of variety within the mix. But in order to incorporate this new kind of habit and behaviour, I'm also using the information from Atomic Habits from James Clear's book. And this is where I'm doing the kind of stacking. So I am watching some content, I'm listening to some podcasts while I am on the treadmill, because I'm on there for a longer period of time, anything between 30 minutes to maybe an hour, maybe a little bit more than that, depending on what I'm actually feeling that I want to do that day. So I'm being a little bit flexible, and it's about getting that habit into place. So I'm tracking how many times am I going on the treadmill, how long am I staying on the treadmill, how many steps am I actually incurring. So then I can actually incorporate that within the overall tracking. So once a month when I do my weigh-in, I'll be able to sort of see, well, where is my kind of weight in the whole kind of grand scheme of things, how much exercise have I had, how much more change do I need to incorporate in order for my body to function at its optimal. And this isn't a quick fix. This is a 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter progress on a daily basis. So this is where I do the tracking in order to keep myself motivated, because I'm also doing the whole kind of celebration. So if I've put it in my diary that I'm going to do 2 days of treadmill and I want to do 30 minutes. If I've done 35 minutes, I pat on the back, celebrate, little dance, whatever, to sort of treat myself, watch an extra 20 minutes on YouTube, give myself a reward that then is going to reinforce me doing that habit. And then I'll be, no, I'm not just going to do 35 minutes, I'm going to do 40 minutes. So that is about me sort of celebrating the little victories, but at the same time keeping the momentum and the motivation and reinforcing those new habits of behaviour. The other thing that I also do to keep myself motivated is do the reframe. And this is where in the morning when you wake up, even if you've not had particularly great sleep or your mood might not be top of the wave and you're actually wanting to sort of shift it and reframe it, this is where, if I've got things that need to happen in that day, that I've got a client call or I've got a catch up or I've got an activity that I really want to complete, in order to get myself to reframe, I change the wording that most people use, I have to do something, which generates that feeling of it's an obstacle, it's a chore, it's something that you have to do, rather than what you really want to do it and that you see it as an opportunity. So I use the word I get to. And this is where doing that subtle word change from I have to do something to I get to do something, it raises, I'm smiling straight away. I get to have the opportunity to do something. I get to experiment doing something. And this is where you see it as a learning opportunity and you feel energized and rejuvenated and you want to get on and do it. So that subtle kind of word change can have such a positive impact to keep you motivated and actually propel you to achieve your goals quicker. And as I mentioned, self-reflection is something that I actually do on a daily basis, but then on a weekly basis, I do a review of the previous 7 days to sort of see, is there any patterns of behaviour? Is there any kind of things that I need to sort of be aware of in order for me to either reframe, course correct, or adjust my coping strategies in order for me to feel motivated and energized and willing to take the next week and the next day ahead. And by doing that self-reflection, you're then seeing the kind of progress. So you can actually see not just the 1 millimeter, but you're actually seeing the 7 days of 1 millimeter progress that you're actually doing. And that is where, on that reflection and having looked at some of the kind of YouTube content that I've produced, I've come to the conclusion that my next challenge that I'm going to post at the end of October is going to be a 6-day challenge. So in end of September, beginning of October, I had a 7-day money challenge, and what I'm going to do now is a self-esteem challenge, but it's going to be 6 days. And then at the tail end of November, I'm going to do a 5-day challenge. The topic is yet to be determined, so if there is a topic that you want me to create a mini challenge for, put it in the comments below and I'll incorporate it in the kind of data that I'm going to sort of like pull together and present in tail end of November or into the December. And in December, with it being coming up to the festive period, and I know people will have some downtime, but they'll also probably be busy with social activities, with work, friends, family and children potentially. So therefore, I'm going to do a 4-day challenge, and this is where you can actively participate. I know a lot of people have done the 7-day money challenge and they've done all 7 days, but some people have dipped in and dipped out. And the way that I'm going to incorporate the self-esteem is almost like make it stand alone, that if you actually just did 1 day, that would be enough to maybe sort of give you a little bit of a shift, a little bit of an encouragement to actually shift your mindset around how you actually view yourself, and to boost your self-esteem, your self-worth and your self-love, because ultimately that is what we want to do. We want to be our own cheerleaders and empower and encourage each other. So I'm going to experiment. The 3 videos per week for YouTube for the remaining weeks will still continue to be produced, and that challenge I'm going to do for the self-esteem being 6 days, and then the next one will be 5 and the next one will be 4, to sort of see, well, what are the views like, what is the engagement like, and then I can actually come up with a plan of action, what I'm going to do in 2025. So that is what I do to actually crush my weekly goals and introduce new habits and track my progress, and then keep myself motivated, celebrate the little victories. What do you do? What is your self-reflection practice? Do you do it on a daily basis? Do you do it weekly? Do you do it less frequently? Is this a new concept for you? Is this something that you think you could apply in your own life, and would you find benefit in it? Please feel free to share in the comments below. I want to start the dialogue and the engagement for those of you that are actually feeling brave and empowered to actually do so. And hopefully after we've completed the 6-day self-esteem challenge, then we'll get more engagement from you as the time progresses. Okay, so if this is content, if you're a new viewer and this is content that is of interest, if my vibe is resonating with you, please like and subscribe. And for everyone watching, go out and seize the day. Have the most amazing day, no matter what you're actually doing. And remember, there's always choices in life, so choose wisely. Bye until the next one.